Here we have the current stock market analysis for SoFi Technologies Incorporated, stock ticker as OFI. Before we begin, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts in the comment section below so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So as we can see here, we have the 2-hour price chart. So that would mean each candle on this price chart, it represents a 2-hour trading period. And as we can see here, the stock market movement to the downside has started to accelerate in terms of its speed and rate. So as we can see here, this is a fairly substantial movement to the downside, probably taking large sections of the market by surprise here. Largely because we had been seeing some fairly decent share price rallies in the stock previously. Ultimately, these prior rallies resulted in price highs that came in right around $8.30. So the significant movement here to the downside might seem quite substantial, at least on a short-term basis. So in this video, what we're going to be looking at will be some important price zones, which can be hopefully used to identify some profitable trading strategies for this stock in the days and weeks ahead. So currently what we're dealing with here is a break of support zones that have occurred more than once. Some of these price zones are levels that we've been watching in this stock for quite some time. I thought that it's probably best to look at the 2-hour time frame for this sort of chart formation here for this pattern structure, because this does allow us to see the extent to which share prices have managed to break through support zones somewhat continuously. So previously, one level that we were watching came in right around 765. That would be roughly this price zone here. So here we did say that if we did see a share price movement below this area, if we did see the support level break, the best we could hope for at that point would be a period of sideways consolidation. However, if this did lead to a downside break of 715, the ultimate price movement then would have to be considered bearish at that point. If we sort of pull out a bit here, one of the arguments that I've been making for this stock is that we've seen successive price movements in two directions at this point, and one of these price movements is going to have to be considered to be a false breakout. So on one side, we have this share price low that formed at $6.01. Essentially, this did break the prior low of $6.15. So, for the most part, what you would expect to see at that point would be an acceleration of downside momentum, and probably a further movement later below the into the $5 mark, below the $6 mark. However, what we started to see at that point with this low at 601 was a fairly strong price movement into $8.30. So we'll sort of move back into that, move into that viewpoint here. So as we can see here, that would be this trending move higher from $6 to $8.30. This movement into $8.30 broke above the prior double top resistance zone that came in right around $8 per share. This wasn't a clean double top necessarily, but we did have a prior price high at $8.06 and another at $7.95, giving us an average price of roughly $8. So here we can see that we did have a fairly significant break here to the top side. So essentially, both of these scenarios can't be correct. Either you had a confirmed break to the top side, or you had a confirmed break to the downside. In any case, here, what you do have is a widening trading range, and at some point, one of these levels, one of these trend directional movements, is going to have to win out. They can't both be correct. So either the downside break was the true movement, or the break to the top side was the true movement. The way things currently stand, it is starting to look as though we're going to see a retest of the price lows to the downside. However, one point that I should make here is that share prices have currently managed to find support right at a key Fibonacci support zone. That would be this area here. So what we can see is that share prices did manage to bounce somewhat from roughly $6.90. As we can see, this is what we're dealing with here is the price movement from 601 to 830. So if we look at the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement of that move, that would be roughly this distance here, this sort of moving white line here. And that did lead share prices to a test of this $6.89 mark. which was the 618 retracement of this price move. So, if share prices can manage to hold this low, which comes in right around 690, if the share price can manage to hold this low, then this does open up scope then for another retest of the highs at 830. However, if we drill in here, if we look more closely, what we can see at the moment is that share prices are running into some resistance right back at this $7.15 mark. This is still critical because what we're looking at here is the sort of rising blue line here is the 200 period exponential moving average. So you've got an exponential moving average resistance zone and a prior historical support zone that would now be expected to work as resistance. So you've got two different sort of structures here fighting one another. And at the moment, what you've got developing is a very tight trading range, coming in roughly between $6.90 and $7.15. So obviously that's a very tight trading range. I don't think anybody would really expect that type of structure to maintain itself for very long. I think we do need to see an ultimate break here in one direction or another fairly soon. Markets are trying to pressure into the top side into the close today. We've got about 25 more minutes before the close, so we will have to be watching. We will need to be watching where prices close the trading day today. Ultimately, what you would want to see here would be a break back above this 715 level and a close above there. The worst case scenario here would be a final break below 690 and some sort of close below there. You can start with an hourly basis and then a daily basis. So if we did see share prices move below 690, say tomorrow, for example, you could start to see some hourly closes there. Maybe not necessarily a daily close below there. But as things currently stand, we've got a line in the sand that's drawn here, and it's creating a fairly tight trading range at the moment. So obviously this can't be expected to last very long. Overall, the momentum is still focused on the downside because we're trading below the exponential moving average cluster, and then the indicator reading for the most part is still showing negative price movements. There are some developing positives here that could be seen, but those are shorter term in nature. So these are the current price levels that I'm watching. You are looking at a fairly tight trading range at the moment. So this does look like a period of indecision for the stock. So here's the current stock market update for SoFi Technologies Incorporated, stock ticker SOFI. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.